and gentlemen, quick question before we get started. Who here is ready for 4 more years of Donald Trump? I thought so. Well, let me tell you something. It is so great to be back in the great state of Pennsylvania. I want to remind you guys, anybody remember November 8th, 2016? Okay, that was election day. And maybe you would rather think about November 9th, 2016, because that was actually when they finally called the state of Pennsylvania for Donald J. Trump. And Katrina and I got to travel all across this great country in 2016 together. And it's funny because everywhere we went, we get a huge turnout of people. And then we turn on the TV that night and they would say, there's no path to victory for Donald Trump. There's no way he's going to win. Don't you remember the anointed one? Hillary Clinton was supposed to be our former president of the United States. Well, the great news is that the people of this country had different plans. And we knew that there was something going on in this country. We knew there was something that the mainstream media was missing. We knew that the polls were fake. So don't think for a second any of those polls have changed. Folks, those polls are more wrong today than they were in 2016. The silent majority is real. The silent majority is bigger now than ever before, okay? So don't let anybody tell you differently. You know why they put the fake polls out? Because they don't want people to get out and vote. They want you to think, there's no point in voting. Donald Trump's not going to win. Joe Biden will be our next president. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a moment and talk about Joe Biden, shall we?
Yeah.
The guy whose wife does an interview in person, and yet they have him from home on a laptop doing an interview. So I'm confused. Your wife can get out and do an interview, but you're coddled in your safe space with a puppy in your basement. Let me guess, probably with all the questions scripted out before you, and you still can't get it right. This cannot be the President of the United States, ladies and gentlemen, under those circumstances. You know, I remember in 2015, before the President announced that he wanted to run, he sat down with all of our family and he said, this is something that I really want to do, but I want you to know that it's not just about me, it's about all of us, because they're going to come after us. See, he knew then that in order to do things right, in order to drain the swamp and take down a system that has been broken for a long time, it wasn't going to be easy. But we all said we are 100% on board with you now. Truth be told, I don't know that we knew how crazy they would get with all of us, right? But truly, I want you to remember that. You know, sometimes you turn on the wrong channel out there. I won't mention any names, the fake news. And it can be hard sometimes to hear the nonsense that they say. But just keep this in mind. They won't try and stop a loser, folks, but they will try and stop a winner. And Donald Trump is winning for the United States of America. He is draining the swamp. He is holding people accountable. Don't forget, like Katrina said, he didn't need to do this job. Donald Trump had a great life. Remember, everybody used to love Donald Trump. The star of The Apprentice, he was a businessman, an entrepreneur, truly, really the embodiment of the American dream. But I remember seeing him get as frustrated as I'm sure all of us did. There were so many of us that would say, well, what is going on with our government? Remember there was like the shrimp on the treadmill for like a $10,000 or $100,000 shrimp on the treadmill the government did? What was that? He was like, what is that? We're wasting money on that? We're giving $150 billion to a country that hates us while our veterans die, waiting in line for appointments at the VA? I should change this. Somebody needs to do something about this, and I think he knew he was the only person that could do what needed to be done to save this country. Okay? That's why he ran for president. And that's why it doesn't matter what they say about him. We know that they have fought him every single step of the way, and yet look at the way that this man has delivered for this country. He's done things in 3.5 years in office, despite a global pandemic, something completely unprecedented that his predecessor couldn't have dreamed of doing in 2 terms in office, that no president has been able to do before. So if you like the first 4 years of Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna love the next 4, right? But what Katrina said is also completely right. which is that we have to win by such a resounding margin that there's no way they can dispute the results of the election. Isn't it funny, by the way, do you remember the Democrats in 2016 were like, well, Donald Trump is never going to accept the results of the election when Hillary Clinton wins, and yet, isn't it funny? Let's call up Hillary and remind her she didn't win, because I don't think she still knows it. They're still not sure that Donald Trump won that election. So you see, every step of the way what they've tried to do. Russia collusion, couldn't take him down. An impeachment over a phone call, a perfectly acceptable phone call with Ukraine. And I'll remind everybody, the same day Nancy Pelosi was playing politics and passing out her impeachment pins to her fellow Democrat members in Congress, that's the day that Donald Trump stopped China from sending travelers to the United States to help stop the spread of the coronavirus. Because he was actually still looking out for the well-being of the American people, and he always will. But that's why you guys are so important. See, you're out here wearing the MAGA hats. I see some MAGA masks. I love it, folks. Excellent job. You guys are the representatives on the front line, because there are a lot of people that are scared to say that they support this president. Because we know cancel culture is out of control, it's running rampant, people are losing their jobs, they're losing everything because they support the sitting president of the United States. Are you kidding me? But that's why you guys matter. For every person that sees you out there with your MAGA hat, with your MAGA mask, with a bumper sticker on your car, with a yard sign in front of your house, it makes a difference to people. You guys make it okay for people to come out and they say, well, maybe, you know what, maybe I'll wear my MAGA hat. So you guys are going to make the difference. And it's up to you to convince people that we are not just going to sit on the sidelines, we are going to volunteer. You can go to armyfortrump.com if you'd like to become a volunteer for the president and the campaign, and help us all across the country on our big pink bus. We would love to have you. But you guys will ultimately make the difference, and let's be very clear about something, ladies and gentlemen. On November 3rd, we are going to stand in line at a polling location and cast a vote there in person for President Donald Trump. Because what we know is that this isn't just about Republican versus Democrat. It's not just about left versus right. This is about keeping America, America, okay? In 2016, I didn't have children. I had 2 dogs that were pretty upset with me at the end of 3 months on the road, I'll admit. But now I have 2 kids. I have a son named Luke and a daughter named Carolina. And that's why this is so important. It was important to me then, but I look at my kids and I say, you know what? I want my kids to grow up in the same America that I got to grow up in. I want them to be proud to stand up and put their hand over their heart to say the Pledge of Allegiance when the Star-Spangled Banner is played. I want them to know love of one's country. That is what we are doing here. That is what we are fighting for. Because let's be honest, folks, if Joe Biden got elected, the United States of America would be unrecognizable as a country. So we are making the decision right here today. We will not defund the police. We will defend the police. We will stand and